Hi guys, how's it going? It's Adam in the garden. Well, today is a beautiful day in the first week of autumn here in Ukraine. I know many other countries in the rest of the world have a few more weeks before autumn, but we get a lucky early start. And so with autumn, it's time to start cleaning up the garden beds, especially the vegetable garden beds. And it's also a perfect time to start transplanting things in a safer environment, as that intense summer heat and sun has moved a little bit farther. So today what we're going to be doing here is cleaning up the corn, which really has been ready for a few weeks to pull, but with the intense summer heat, I just went ahead and left it. This I will try to use for some autumn decorations as well. Another benefit of getting those vegetable gardens cleaned up is to use some of it for your autumn decoration. So here, this will not be empty for long, because as soon as I get this all pulled up and tilled and all the weeds pulled and everything else, I have plans for it. And I think I've mentioned this in previous videos, but I have this Lebanese cedar called Blue Angel that is ready and waiting to take the place of the corn. So the Blue Angel, as they say, now this isn't the typical standard Lebanese cedar that grows extremely high. This one's not a little guy by any means, but he is very irregular. So this is good for garden zones 6, hardiness of zone 6. Here we have kind of a 5B, 6A hodgepodge, depending on where we are in the Kiev area. And so this is going to get planted here on the north side, so I do think it will be okay being zone 6 up against the fence on the north side. I think it'll be okay during the winter and those harsh winds. So again, this is garden zone 6. It grows to about 7 or 8 meters tall, so that's about 25 feet, I think, and about 15 feet wide, or about 4 to 5 meters wide. So it is not a small specimen by any means, but with a growth rate of about 30 centimeters, or about 1 foot every year. It's not a small specimen, but it is very irregular, and you can kind of see that here. It just kind of grows willy-nilly as it wants, and so that's one reason why, yes, it will get huge, or rather large in this area, but I do think it will be okay. And as they say about these, the Blue Angel, if you have a creative mind, then you might be able to see angel wings coming from it. So guys, let's get busy. The day is ticking on, the sun is coming, and so let's go ahead and get started with the corn. All right guys, well, today I will be using my gloves. I have some experience with dealing with dried grasses and corns and things like that, where last year they almost murdered my hands. They can be very sharp. So since I'm not working in the dirt quite yet, as you know, I prefer bare hands and bare roots to interact. But since here I won't be using the dirt yet, or in the dirt yet rather, I will be using my gloves and some garden trimmers later on. So I'll just get going. The ground is pretty dry, so we'll see how hard this is. Hopefully not. It's hard, guys. I will also be using a shovel. I don't know about you guys, but I'm the type of gardener, just the type of person, and anything I do, I see something I want to do and I just go for it, oftentimes without gathering the proper tools that I need to do the job, or that I might need to do the job. So always carry a shovel with you whenever you're gardening, because you just don't know. Sometimes you forget about cucumbers and they turn into, well, this. I'm not sure if it's well, it's still a cucumber, but it does look like a cantaloupe a little bit, doesn't it? Cucumbers are in the melon family, so this will be a special treat. It's actually almost 3 cucumbers in one. This will be a good treat for my Labrador. All right, guys, well, that didn't take too long. Now here in Ukraine, I've heard of an old village tradition that you use the long grasses and long weeds and long wildflowers growing in the midst of the corn stalks to tie the corn stalks together. It is something that you can take into your country as well. Well, there wasn't a lot of weeds in that corn, but I was able to go around, surprise, surprise, I'm always pulling weeds. I'm the king of weeds on this territory. And so I was able to go around and pull enough to show you how to do the tying of the corn stalks as I've been taught here in Ukraine. This is kind of we'll say a Ukrainian village secret, something that I've never seen before, and it's a very natural, ecological way. A lot of people in Western countries will use ribbon or something like that, and we have weeds with us. Typically, they say that you do it more with the weeds that are a little more stick to each other, and it helps bind it. But you're just basically pulling weeds and long weeds, kind of put this down right here on the ground and make a general in sections, right? And kind of overlap. And then you just take it and start twisting it. And eventually you will make a rope. And from what I've been told, this, and I've seen, this will dry and it will hold the corn stalks quite well. So here I've divided the corn stalks into 2 sections. So this one, I'm actually going to lay that down. Try not to unravel it. Put this on top. Make sure they're relatively even because they will be standing up to dry further. And with this rope, you just take it and twist it. And you get some of those longer ones down and twist it in, almost making a nest of sorts in here. And that's about it. So after that, you're ready and put it up against the fence. Put it up against the fence to dry, or up against your house while the stalks are still green. And these will dry by themselves, adding some extra, just an extra touch to your autumn decorations. I didn't measure quite right, and it was time to get rid of the corn anyway, and the corn needed to be moved to get the Blue Angel cedar in. But I actually want the cedar to be about here, keeping in mind, as I said, that it will be grow to about 4 to 5 feet meters wide, about 15 feet wide, and so I need a little bit of room. Here I have a cherry tree, which cherry trees get quite large. This one, I mean, all of these will be maintained and trimmed down into just a small garden fashion. But still, I want to get the cedar about right in here. So I'm going to be pulling the cucumber as well today, and we'll see how far we get. Eventually, this poor derren needs to get moved as well, maybe a little bit farther from me. Another reason why he's just been struggling all summer long here is a couple days ago I noticed there are quite a few holes in the ground. And so I'm not sure if it's moles or lizards. We have a lot of lizards here, or frogs. So I don't know. I have those as well. I didn't know where they were coming from. So maybe here there's a nest of lizards or frogs or moles or mice. I don't know. But something is eating at the roots in this poor derren. So he needs to get moved anyway. And so I'll be eventually doing that. But today I am going to get it's a big cleaning up the garden day. I do have more cucumbers in other places, but yeah, that's going to happen too. Well, I got the ground all cleaned up and leveled, and I think I want this cedar to be about right here. Let's see, I think it will, remember I said 4 to 5 meters, so about 15 feet wide, and so from the trunk itself, right? So here we get about 3 feet to a little bit more than 3 feet, a little bit more, about 1.5 meters, 4 feet, we'll say, and etc., etc., etc. So I think this will be a good spot for it. So this derren definitely needs to get moved, and I think I'm going to have the derren kind of right in here rather than farther that way, because any derren you can shape as you want. Those can get huge if you want them to, but they're also quite easy to maintain. So I think this will be a good spot for the derren. We'll get moved here, and we'll put the cedar there. Yeah, I think that'll do it. don't forget when you're planting to make sure that the very base of the root crown is level with the ground that you're planting it on. So this one does need to get raised just a little bit, but it's pretty good. The plant is even, so I just need to add a couple scoops of dirt to it, and then I think it'll be fine. Also, I will be planting with water because that is extremely important, especially with a transplant like this and some bare roots. However, the roots are fantastic. This poor guy has been transplanted already twice, and but I see really nice roots down below. I see some really nice growth, new growth on the leaves, and so there's also a little baby as well that also got dug up, so I'll plant that in with the mother plant as well. Side facing south. Here you've got the top and this portion. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have that if I can. Okay, about like that. And I'll still get some growth here, but I want things cascading that way, not up against the fence, because that's kind of defeats the purpose. So yeah, even a little bit more like that. Let's see. I think that'll be good. Now, I will raise this, as I say, there's an exception to every rule, right? However, since the root ball is the size that it is, and you dig the hole twice the size, right? So there's a lot of loose dirt. That dirt will compress again. So in this case, I am going to be raising him up about maybe 3 inches, 3 to 4 inches, so about 8 to 10 centimeters, because the ground will set and then he will be level, or it will be level at that point. So I'm going to pull it out and put in some of the peat substrate in the bottom, and then we'll fill in. We did a lot today, and I do mean a lot, from the digging up of the corn and the cucumbers, putting these stalks of corn together for decoration for later on, and then kind of a surprise I didn't really plan on, but it did work out perfectly to get this derren transplanted, and I really do see how the afternoon sun is already moving and the cherry tree is giving it shade, so I really do think that this is the perfect place for it. So I'm happy. I think it's happy. I can already see it. I can hear it singing. And then, again, another big step today is getting this Blue Angel Lebanese Cedar planted. Again, I've had this at least, I want to say at least 6 months, if not longer, and just didn't know where to put it, and so it's been surviving in its container, and I've been kind of sheltering the container in shade, because those black garden containers really are not beneficial to the plants, especially out in full sun. So getting this planted in is a big step in getting this. I really do feel like this whole side is just about finished. There's a couple more things to put in. We'll do those together, and then we'll bark all of this as well. I do want to get some bark in on the circles now. Since they've been watered in, I want to make sure that the bark kind of contains that moisture, because it is autumn now, but just early autumn. So we do still have some of that late summer heat. So the bark will just help maintain the moisture while the plants get established. Later on, I will remove the bark. Remember, you don't want to have bark completely up against the trunk of a tree or shrub or anything like that, because it will, it can cause disease and in fact injure the plant. So in a couple weeks, I'll be moving those slightly away. So we'll go ahead and finish today with the bark. Don't forget to like, comment, share, all of those fun things, and see you in the next video. Bye, guys.